If you're considering going to some bookish events this year, then this episode is for you. But even if bookish events feel really overwhelming like they do for me, that's okay. We'll have lots of tips for you to get those signed books if you're feeling like, actually, Alesia, now that I've heard you talk about these events, I'm not interested in taking that time or being at these events with all of these people. So today we're going to unlock the secrets of navigating these bookish events with Ricki. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast contains mature content intended for adult audiences only. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to make sure that I do a PSA about what happened at Sinners and Stardust. Now, we recorded this episode before what happened at Sinners and Stardust, so we did not address those things because we did not think that we would need to address those things. But I want to make sure that I address them here with you. And Ricki has said yes to adding this to her episode because consent is important. And honestly, that is the theme when it comes to interacting with authors, interacting with event coordinators, interacting with other people who are there. Consent is important. It is non-negotiable. And let's go ahead and address a few of the things that consent is important around. So I did not know that I would need to have this conversation, but when we're talking about preparing for events or how to interact with people at events, let's make sure that we get consent before we do these things. First and foremost, it is important when you are taking a photo with an author that you ask them for consent to put your arm around them. Or if they have a sign somewhere that says, please do not touch me, then please do not touch them. I also want us to make sure that we are not groping the authors. There's a lot of things that have come out of Sinners and Stardust that is not just about Sinners and Stardust event. If you don't know what happened at Sinners and Stardust, you can go check out threads. It happened about 2 or 3 weeks from the time of the release of this episode. And so you can check out what happened more there. I'm not going to go into details here, but remember that authors are not props. And some authors have mentioned being groped by their readers at these events, and that is not okay at all. So let's make sure that we're not doing that. Let's also talk about the verbal boundaries with authors. So not just physical boundaries, but verbal boundaries as well. Several of the authors have come forward, not just from Sinners and Stardust, but from other events, and have mentioned that they have had readers come up to them and are sharing intimate details about the things that they do in their personal life based on the books or screenshots that they took and then reenacted. Those authors have not consented to hear intimate details about your sexual life. So let's make sure that we keep those to ourselves, share them with a friend who has consented, share them with our partner. We do not need to share those with the authors. We want to make sure that when we are interacting with these authors that we are being respectful, we are being kind, and it does not matter if the author writes dark romance or writes spicy romance or anything in between. It is important that we as readers are treating them with respect and adhering to these verbal boundaries because the author did not consent to hear about the intimate things we do in our personal life. Also, make sure that we are respecting everyone that is at these events. I've been to events where there are men there and they are voice actors or they are cosplaying the characters. They are still human beings. They are not props. And it is important that we are not groping or touching them at these events. It does not matter that they're cosplaying as something sexy. That does not give us a license to touch other people without their consent. It doesn't matter if it's a man, doesn't matter if it's a woman, doesn't matter if it's someone who's non-binary or anything else. It does not matter. Their consent is important. And I feel like we should know this at this point. But these are things that are happening, and so I feel like we need to be discussing it. I also want to address the sex toy discussion The nature of a dark or spicy romance event does not give attendees, us who are readers, who love these books, who maybe have some toys, a blanket permission statement to act in a non-consensual way. Public spaces are shared spaces. Public balls or paid balls are still public spaces, and no one has consented to have sex toys brought out or shoved in their face without their permission. Yes, these are things that actually happened at the Sinners and Stardust event, and it's important that we understand that there's a dark side to these events when you have a collective group of people who do not maybe understand consent or what it means to be a consenting adult, and that is a problem. And so it's important that we have this discussion before. When we get into the conversation with Ricki, it's going to be a lot more fun, I promise, and a lot more strategic around preparing for these events, picking events that you want to go to, and interacting in a less fangirl kind of way with these authors, practicing consent and respect for attendees, for authors, for other individuals that are there. We can make sure that this bookish space is safe, it is fun, and it is welcoming for everyone, and that is the priority here. So let's go ahead and get into the episode with Ricki. Hello, Ricki. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. If you could start by telling everybody a bit about your adult reading journey.
So for me, I, as a kid, always read. And I started early, very early, kindergarten, I was reading. My mom's a teacher. My grandma was a teacher and counselor. So reading was a big thing in my house. And I would say elementary and middle school, I was really into mystery thrillers. I don't know why, because I am such a scaredy cat. I'm such a baby, but that was my genre. And then in high school, it really transitioned to romance. I was like, no more mystery thrillers for me. Give me all the romance you have. And then I went to college and I was like, I already have to read enough for class. I cannot fathom picking up a book for pleasure. So I completely quit. And then pandemic happened, obviously, and I needed something to do because I was starting to sink really into depression. It was the worst I had been in years. And I stumbled across book talks. I downloaded TikToks. Everybody was talking about it. I was like, okay, another social media app. What can it do? Found Book Talk, found Romance Book Talk, and I think that was June of 2021, and read 50 books that month. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're still a reader. Let's go, girl. Just so then it just went off from there. And I would say each year my focus in my reading has tried to become as more diverse than I was last year. Because in 2021, I was reading a lot of white romance. I was like, there's got to be something. There's got to be books that have people on the page that look like me, that are people of color, that are queer, that are disabled, that are fat. Please. Finally found diverse book talk, and I never left. I was like, this is the time of my life. Because in high school, when I was reading romance, it was all white romance. My library did not have any people of color. I come from a very small, conservative, white town. That was all that was on the shelves. And I was like, this is good, but none of them look like me, no queer romance. I read my very first queer romance in 2022, world shattering. I was like, oh my God, there are gay girls. And they have stories and they fall in love. And yeah, my adult reading has been one of the best parts of my life, and I just can't wait to keep going. Each year, it get better and better and better.
I love that so much. Yes, I could not agree with the idea of you get onto Book Talk, you get onto Bookstagram, you're like, ooh, all these book recommendations. Next thing you know, your TBR is 1,000 books deep. It's
Forever.
fine. It's fine. That's why I deleted mine at the beginning of 2025, because I was like, look, I'm a mood reader, and the books I was adding to my TBR in 2020 was not what I'm interested in reading now.
No, I feel that 100%. Yes.
And we get fed, of course, the algorithm pushes so many straight and white books, and it just, one, it sucks, especially for people like us who are BIPOC, who are queer, who are like, I'm just looking for a little bit of representation,
Just a
please.
smidge. Like, just a smidge. I'm begging.
Yes.
And not to be the side character. Come on.
Yes, a little more
Like,
than
come
the side
on.
character.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I agree. And I think that so many of us have that story of like, ooh, looking at our stats and looking at the stuff that we read and being like, this doesn't look like me at all. And like, how can I make this look more like me and more like the world that I live in? And
Exactly.
that's what I think is so important is that so much of contemporary white romance or even fantasy white romance tends to look very white, which is not the world that we live in at
Exactly. I'm
all.
like, I'm looking around and this is not it. Like,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. So,
Yeah.
one, we should push authors to be more like, "Hey, look at the world around you." Like, have more of us in your
Yes.
books, but also how can we as readers promote and talk about and be excited about the books that show our representation? So, yes, I agree. It has to be an intentional journey, and I think that's what it really is. It's that intention. Posted this maybe yesterday it was of the time of this recording. I posted on Threads that Kennedy Ryan is not the only Black contemporary romance author. Okay.
Yep.
And I fucking love Kennedy Ryan. Like, I
Yes.
fangirl in a really kind of weird way. Every time I see her, I'm like, hi. Oh my God, I don't
I
know what to
literally
say
stood
to
there
you.
shaking. I was like,
Hello.
oh my gosh. Yes.
Like, I get
Exactly.
the hype,
Yes.
and there are
It's like
plenty of others.
also there two things can exist at once. She is an amazing Black romance author. Like amazing. But we have tons in the indie space. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm begging you people to pick up indie authors. Please. Like I love them. There's so many. You don't have to focus on just one person to get that exact representation you're needing because one person can't show you all the multitudes that one identity holds. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, yes, I 100%. I saw that thread too. I was like, yep, Alicia knows what's packing. Yep,
Yes. And, like, even
100%.
even beyond that, right? Like, so for people who are like, "I don't know that I'm really looking for specific representation," cool. You're looking for a second chance romance trope. Guess what? I have 10 romance authors across different genres. Some are
Exactly.
Indian, some are Black, some are Asian, some are white, right? Because like, I don't not read. I hate double
Right?
negatives. It's not like I don't read white romance,
Right.
but
But it's not the only thing.
not the only
Like,
thing. Come on.
come on.
So yes,
Yeah,
totally agree.
100%.
It's so good. So yeah, I love that your journey has included that. And I think that a lot of us can definitely relate to that feeling, especially if you're listening to this podcast, because we're here to talk about diverse, smutty romance, not just
Amen.
two white people. Sorry, not
Yes.
sorry.
Not sorry. Not sorry at all.
Yeah, exactly. So today, though, we're going to talk about something that I definitely struggle with a little bit, and that is bookish events. But I feel like every time I see your Instagram stories, you're at another event. And I was like, I need to talk to Ricki because one, I have social anxiety. And so like personally have to minimize the number of
Hmm.
events that I go to, the size of those events. But like, how do I prepare myself? Not just mentally, right? Like, because I got my own things that I do, whether
That's the whole thing.
outfit, right? Having to talk through it with friends and being like, do I really want to go? Is this really like
Hmm.
I know I spent money. Who fucking cares? Like,
Like, is it worth it?
yeah.
Yeah, totally get that one.
But let's start at the very beginning. When you're looking at these events that you want to go to, what are some things that you're specifically looking for when you're deciding, hey, this is an event that I would like to participate in or attend?
So for me, I will say I think I got spoiled because my very first convention, bookish event, whatever you want to call it, was Steamy LitCon. And I had been following Steamy Lit since they started. And I was like, this is what I needed because, like we said, intention matters when you're trying to read. And I had to, after Steamy Lit, when we did the 23 for 2023, I think is what it was called, that was the big key factor. It was like, you have to be intentional about it. you have to go out of your way to find those sometimes. You have to make sure you're following people that are giving you recommendations for the books you want. If you're following all white creators that are all non-disabled, that are all straight, you're not going to find those diverse books unless those people are putting in a lot more intention. It's very rare to find.
Right.
So Steamy Lit as a company is all about diverse stories. They're promoting the fuck out of BIPOC stories, queer stories, disabled stories, stories about fat people. And their convention showed that. Their convention was very accommodating. And looking around at not only the authors, but the attendees, I was like, dang, there's people that look like me. There's tons of fat people. There's tons of queer people. There's tons of people of color and there's tons of disabled people, and that is a reflection of our world we live in. And it was just so nice to see all those come together because I had seen photos from like a Polycon and Book Bonanza, and they were very overwhelmingly white.
Yeah.
And I am a very light-skinned biracial person, and my main factor when people see me is my hair to say, okay, she's not white exactly. And been told that so many times. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
Thanks?
But
Question mark? Like,
yeah, I was
is
like,
that a
okay.
compliment or I don't really.
And then it's like a
Yeah.
guessing game. It's like, what is she? I'm like, just please don't ask me what I am. Please,
Yeah.
let's not go down that route. But I don't, and I was raised by the white side of my family. So it's like I'm comfortable around white people, but also I feel that otherness. So I was like, I don't know how I would feel in a room of mostly white people, mostly thin people. I've always been fat my entire life, and that is a big thing walking into a room
Yeah.
as someone who has been fat her whole life and is comfortable in her body now. Like I'm so neutral about my body, but other people are not.
Right.
And that is one of the first things they see. So seeing pictures from different conventions like that, I was like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable, feel like I fit in, feel like I could easily just talk to these people about everyday things, maybe about political things, especially the environment we're currently in.
Yeah.
I want to be able to know I can talk to people about that. And so Steamy Lit spoiled me, 100% spoiled me. I was like, holy cow, is this how they all are?
No.
No, and they're not. I was like, oh, okay, so I got spoiled, great. But that's what I want to look at. I want to see, I look through their author list first, because if there's not authors I want to go see, then what's the point of spending my money? But also, what do all the authors white? Are there any queer authors? Are there any authors that are fat that write disabled stories? Any own voices at all? Because sometimes a lot of them, if they're indie authors, it's just this long list of white authors that write white romance, and questionable things happen in those white romances. And I'm just like, that's not for me. Outside of Steamy Lit, I've been to Love Y'all Book Fest, and that one hands down was fantastic. Their author and attendees were very diverse, but it was a smaller convention. So looking at that compared to Steamy Lit, I was like, this is nice because I don't feel as overwhelmed. Because Steamy Lit, I think both years I went was like 1,200 plus people. And I was like, oh, didn't I put this many people in a building? Cool. Cool. Looks like there's
We need
people
smaller
everywhere.
buildings.
Yes. I was like, can we break this up? Here's group A, here's group B. Like, it was a lot of people. And I don't have necessarily social anxiety, but a very anxious person, a very shy, introverted person. So I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was like, there's people everywhere. But that is one thing I look at. Like, does the author list look diverse in any format? Because there's tons of ways to have marginalized identities represented. And I want that, but I also want some of the attendees, like their influencers, if they have an influencer team or what have you that is promoting, what do they look like? Are they all
Right.
white people? Are they all straight people? Are they all thin people? I like to look at that to see how I'm gonna do. Also, another factor, I live in Oklahoma, so it's gonna be a drive
Right.
or fly anytime I want to go somewhere. So I have to factor that in too. Because, like, I drove to Steamy Lit both years. That's a 23-hour drive. And that's a long thing to do, even though I was with someone else when we were trading off driving. That's a long trip. So you have to factor that in. I know some people live near where they're constantly having book signings. That is not a reality for me. So I have to be strategic in where I'm going, what time of the year it's falling, because my mom's a teacher and she's coming. We're trying to base it around that. Yeah, distance would be a big factor because we're Midwesterners through and through. We will drive before we will fly. So we just like, if we can do it, we can do it. Cause like I'm going to Romance Time, which is in Milwaukee. We're driving. It's only like 12 hours, but that's no big deal. That's one day. Like, what?
I know that all of the European listeners are probably like, excuse me? What do you, I won't drive 3 hours. What do you
For
mean?
real. It's a long drive, but I'm telling you, Midwesterners, we drive versus fly anytime. Especially like going to Anaheim, flying versus driving and staying in a hotel like halfway, it came out to be about the same. And when you drive and we have a bigger vehicle, you can pack as much as you want. You're not limited in what liquids you can bring. Especially as a curly girl, I have a lot of hair products. You want me to put it in this little bottle for 5 days?
No.
Oh, no, no. Baby, that little bottle's doing your hair once.
No.
What? So yeah, that I would love to be in Europe. Do a little 2-hour drives. I can go 5 hours and still be in the same state. That's nothing for me. That's little gang.
That is so true. Yeah, I think that distance is such a huge factor. And I'm also someone where like the idea of one, flying and like being somewhere else for an extended period of time just does not make sense for my current lifestyle. My husband is a stay-at-home dad. He homeschools our kids, and I do not want to leave him with our children for more than a day because he's with them constantly already. Like it's not like, "Oh, I don't trust him." No, clearly I trust him
No,
with them. But
I hope so. You had
right, exactly. But I
right.
understand what it's like to be with those little minions all day long and then be like, "Oh, wife's not coming back at all."
No break.
Great.
No
No
break.
break. And
Continue.
yes, like that is really stressful. So I try to find ones that I can drive in a day. So maybe it's at most 4 hours, right? So there's my 8 hours of driving, and then I'm there for a few hours. And then once I'm done, I am done because I'm just like, nope,
Feel
I'm
that.
done. I need to get out of here. Goodbye.
Yep. Battery done. Goodbye.
But as you were
Yeah.
talking about that 23, 24-hour drive, I was like, I'm already thinking of like, what audiobook would I put on? Like, what
Yep.
trilogy would I put on for
I planned it. I planned it. I was like, these are the ones I'm doing. I know exactly which. Yeah. Yes. 100%.
I love and this is like how book readers think. I'm sorry. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like our 12-hour drive to Milwaukee. I'm like, I could get through 2 audiobooks probably. So I listen at like 2.5 speed. I'm like, I can get through 2 books easily. Like, already know which ones I'm going to do. Like, no big deal.
And like I feel like too, when you do that, when you think back to that event, it also brings up, and I don't know if what the like psychology of this, I need to talk to somebody about this because I keep talking about this with podcasting.
Hmm.
That when the listeners listen, and I work in podcasting, like I have a podcast production company and I've been producing podcasts since 2018. So like
Wow.
I'm into this. But like I need to
Right.
talk to somebody about the psychology of having someone in your head as you're doing these everyday tasks, whether it's
Hmm.
cooking or walking your dog, or like some people listen to podcasts in the shower or while you're working,
I
right?
wish.
Commuting, like all of these different
Right.
things. But
All the mundane stuff.
yes, the mundane stuff. And
Yeah.
the same goes for audiobook readers. We're listening to these books while we're driving to and from events. And when I think about an event that will not be named because it is since banned from my list of places I will ever attend, when I think about that event, I think about listening to the Talia Hibbert Brown Sister series because that's what I was
Yes.
listening to as I was driving there and driving back. And so like I think that it like just creates this almost additional memory with the event that I think is just so unique and really cool.
Yes. It's like a layer. It like adds a layer to the memory to make it more potent. I don't know. 'Cause I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Any psychologists out there, please come talk to me. 'Cause
Yes, please. Hit my line.
I need to understand how this works and why it works the way it does. All right. So you
Yes.
mentioned that you're driving. So you've got a lot more space of books that you're like, all right, I
Yes.
have all these books that I'm going to have these authors sign. But when you're coming up with like, all right, what books do I want to bring versus what books do I not want to bring? If there's a big author list, what authors do I maybe want to plan to see? Which ones are backup if like the line gets a little outrageous for these bigger authors?
Mhm.
How do you kind of navigate or plan ahead for that?
Okay, it depends. So my very first year at Stimula, that was my first time ever going to a convention to have authors sign. My team, like all the shelves back here, these are all the books I've read. Most of them weren't signed. So I took a lot of books because I was like, I gotta take everything.
Mm.
And also to keep in account is some events have limits. So you can only have the author sign 5 items. Some don't have a limit. Sometimes it's up to the author. So I think last year at Steamy Lit, you could only bring 5 items. And Allie Hazelwood was one I knew I wanted to go to again, because by then I'd have like 5 more books. And I had 6. So I split. I said, Mom, you go get in line with these
There
3,
you go.
and I'll get in line with these 3, and then we'll get them all signed. But since I drive, it wasn't too big of a deal. I was like, I'll just take everything. And if I don't get it signed, I just don't get it signed. It's not the end of the world. But like when I flew to Love Y'all, because I didn't want to drive by myself to Atlanta, I was like, I'm too much of a kid still. Like, sorry, not an adult enough yet. Can't do that by myself. I had to limit because I had a carry on and a check bag, but I was like, I have to limit because I know myself. I'm gonna buy books at this event because that's just me. If I see books, I'm like, okay, I have money. Yeah, do you want some? Like,
Yeah.
so I was like, I had to limit that way. But thankfully, some of the authors that were attending, I'd already gone to before and had them signed, so I didn't have to have them in my roster. And then planning wise, like trying to figure out which authors I'm going to go to, which ones I'm not going to, normally comes down, have I read their books yet? Or are they still on my TBR? Because for me, I want to go to authors I've already read before so I can talk about their books. I'm like, I loved this part, or this character just was the perfect representation, or things like that. Like I could relate to your character. If I haven't read their book, sometimes I get them, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm excited to read your book, babes.
Right.
Like, what do I say? You've been on my TBR for years.
Sorry.
That's what I'm like. I'm like, so sorry. Mood reader through and
Yeah.
through. I'm so sorry. It's like, I will get to it. I promise. But yeah. And then planning wise, when it gets to being at the event, I normally look, is the event wristbanding? Because if they are wristbanding, they're going to wristband the authors that either are bigger authors that are more well known, have a larger readership, or their line's already long. Because Steamy Lift's the only one I've been to that's wristbanded. But once they got to a certain number, it was like, we're whipping the wristbands out. Here you go, grab a number, get out of line. So I was
Wow.
like, okay, need to go to the bigger people first, get a wristband so I know I can get to them in one of these signing sessions. And then planning wise, when it comes to like being in the rooms, I Steamy had 2 signing rooms. So one day I would just do one room. I was like, whoever's in here, I'll try and knock you out today. Because trying to go back and forth between signing sessions or signing rooms during that signing session, I got so overwhelmed the first year. I was like, I don't even know where I've been. I don't know who I've seen. I would get back to the hotel room. I'm like, I don't know which book signed or not. I can't remember. I blacked out. So, gotta remember, like, I'm doing this room today. I'm doing this room tomorrow. Or if it's all one big room, doing this section right within these first few hours. Take a break, go do this other section. And sometimes just go willy nilly. Like, who's next? Whose books are in my cart right now? Who wants to see me next? I feel like I don't have a good enough handle on how exactly to do that in the most effective way. But I've only been to Steamy Lit twice and Love Y'all, and they're both ran differently. I thought I had this great plan going to Love Y'all, and then it was not the same programming schedule. I was like, okay, throw that in the trash. Let's try again.
So flexibility to change sounds like it might be important as we're
Very much so.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
interesting. I went to a signing that was very small in Raleigh, and very small is small compared to a lot of the other really massive ones, right? Like,
Right.
it was a
Right.
fantastic event, probably one of my favorites, honestly, and granted, I've only been to
Love.
2, but I
Feel
like
that.
this one a lot better. because it was more intimate, because it was a little smaller, I got
Mhm.
recognized, which was really weird.
I
And I was
love
like,
that. I
first of
love
all, what?
that.
She was like, I
Yes.
feel like I know you. And I was like, I don't know, do you?
Like, from where?
and and
From where?
Sarah in Wonderland was with me because they live near Raleigh. And they were
Yes.
like, "Oh, this is Alicia of We Read Smut." And they were like, "Yes, that's what I know you from." And I was like, "Hi." Just very awkward.
You're like, "Hi, yes, that's me."
"It's me. Hello." God, could you be any weirder? It's
Feel
fine.
that.
So, yes, the smaller ones I think tend to be a little better where I can come and go as I need to, and I can kind of take my
Mhm.
time walking around.
Yeah.
I think even about the slightly bigger event that I went to that we will not name, where Emily Rath was at this one, and, like, I had not read any of Emily Rath's books. I honestly still have not, just because there's so many other books that I wanna read first personally, but at the time, she was a really, really big author and one of, like, the big names in the
Mhm.
signing at that event, and when we first got there, me and my friend Nicole, when we first got there, her line was, like, wild, but then by the afternoon, it was empty, and so, like, I
Yep.
think just you kinda take your time, you don't maybe you rush to the bigger ones, and that's okay too, or maybe you just take the other approach of, "Let me go look at these other smaller ones," or the ones that I maybe know that I definitely wanna buy books from. 'Cause, like, there was an
Right.
author that I wanted to buy her books, but she was completely sold out by the time I got
Yep.
to her, and I was like, "That's fine, like, what's your website? Let me go ahead and buy it right here." Like, "Make sure you sign
Right.
it to me," kinda thing.
Yes,
So,
please.
yeah, and she was totally cool about it. She felt so bad. She was like, "I'm so sorry I didn't bring enough," and I was like, "It's
Oh.
really okay." Like, I'm the most chill person about this stuff. I had no
Yeah.
plans except money spending, so it is okay.
Amen. Think you're good, I already did that, so we're okay.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I think that it really just you have to be flexible, scope out the room first, see what it
Mhm.
looks like, what that kind of flow of traffic might look like, and then make your determinations based off of that.
Yes. Yeah, and plans are gonna change, that's just life. Sometimes you just gotta breathe, look around, and change course. Because I know my first year stimulant, I was like, "I'm gonna do XYZ." When I got down there, I was like, "No, you're not, babe. No, actually." And just being able to adapt and just take a second, breathe. It's okay. Like, you're gonna get what you need signed, and if you don't, it's not the end of the world. I think sometimes we put too much on ourselves, like, "Gotta get all these books signed, and I've gotta go see all these authors." It's like, we're here to have fun.
Right.
Let's remember that. Like, you paid a lot of money to have fun, so please have fun.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that's so important. So I've seen people at these events, they've got those, like, the carts that they're trucking around, which I think are
Yes,
so freaking cool.
yes.
Me, I'm with my, like, really massive used to be a diaper bag, but also go that,
I
like, doubles
love.
as a purse. Like, okay,
Yes.
for context, my kids are 11 and 8, okay? So when I say, like, it used to be a diaper bag, that was years
Right.
ago, and I
Years.
spend my money on books, not on purses. So she's
Amen.
fine.
Amen.
But,
Well,
like,
yeah, you gotta get your use in.
you
Oh,
know?
come on.
It still works fine. So that bag was very heavy, and I had to take a couple trips to the car with that one at the first event. The second event, I brought an extra because I'm a Barnes& and Noble member and I get a free tote bag every year. And I'm at, like, 3 or 4 at this point. Like,
I
I had
love.
them. They're so great quality.
They're so
Um
good and they're sturdy.
so
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I brought one of those with me along with my purse and was like, "There we go."
Nice.
And so that was great, but at one point I had to, like, stuff that behind an author's desk that I knew.
Yep.
I was like, "Can we hold on to this while I do another loop? Because it's hurting my arm at this point." But what are some of those things that are, like, non-negotiables? I need to make sure that I bring these to these events to help me make the most of this time.
Okay, so for me, my number one cannot go to an event without it, unless it's a small signing, is the book cart. I 100% believe in it because my first year at Stimulant, I didn't realize those were a thing.
Mm.
I was like, oh, okay, they're going to give us a free tote bag. I know because they told us. I use that free tote bag, and those arms, the handles, whatever you call them, were so stretched out by the end because I loaded so bad. That tote bag was not usable after that event. So I wrecked it. So I knew my second year, I was like, I have got to get one of these carts. And they can be a little pricey, like $50, $60, but hands down, it's the best thing I've purchased. I use it in my everyday life too. If I have to haul a lot of stuff in my car, if I have to haul groceries in, it's getting its money's worth, like 100%. And I have one that has 360 wheels. 10 out of 10 recommend. Because when you're in, so Steamy Lit wasn't like too crowded in the signing rooms, but Love Y'all got a little crowded because they doubled the attendees from their first year. So they were like, oh, what are we going to do? So I didn't mind. I'm like, I'm flexible, girl. It's no big deal. I'm having a good time. But that way I could push the cart in front of me or beside me and didn't have to drag it behind. That's a game changer because then I'm not running over people's feet. If anybody's wearing a dress, I'm not running over that. I'm not just bumping into stuff behind me because I can't hear behind me. So if I can't hear you back there, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. But that's a game changer. 10 out of 10 recommend. And you can get, we have an attachment that goes over the handle that holds, it's like a cup holder, but I use it to hold my wallet when I'm down in the signing sessions, my phone, my water bottle, chapstick, hand sanitizer, an extra mask in case someone wants a mask and they see me wearing mine. They're like, oh, do you have another? Absolutely, babes. I have 3, actually. If you want one. Things like that. Gum, snacks. That thing got it was like $10 on Amazon.
Nice.
And then comfy shoes. I will fight with anybody. Wear comfortable shoes, especially if it's a 4 to 5 hour signing session and you plan on being down there the whole time. That's a lot of standing. And as a girl with flat feet, you could not catch me in anything but some high quality tennis shoes. Because I'm sorry, my pictures, you're not gonna see my feet. And even if you could, at Love Y'all, I wore a dress with sneakers. I was like, no one sees them. I really don't care. I'm like, it's not that big a deal. It's okay. And I saw so many people in heels and sandals. And if those are comfortable shoes for you, by all means, I would trip. If you put me in heels, I'm gonna be on the floor 95% of the time. I'm not gonna be standing up. But comfortable shoes because you're gonna be standing in line so long. If you're trying to walk or race around to one table from the other, you're gonna be on your feet. Like there's quiet spots you can go sit down. They normally have plenty of chairs to make it more accessible, but I'm gonna be standing, so I need some tennis shoes,
Yes.
like orthotic tennis shoes. Your girl's got them. And then headphones. If you want headphones, some people like to just chill out in line. I know a lot of people do the overheads just to cancel out some sound. If you're getting overstimulated, I have done that before. Like, I just need a second to like regroup because sometimes the signing sessions can get a little loud because you've got God knows how many authors in there. Double that with attendees. It can get really loud. So I'm like, that's a good one. And water. Please stay hydrated. I sweat so bad. So I'm like, I gotta keep drinking water or we're gonna pass out. And we do not want that.
Right. For the headphones, I use my loop earplugs, and
Yes.
those are
I love those.
hands down one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm planning on buying some for my 11-year-old because he wore his younger brother who's autistic, he wore his over the ear headphones one time, and I was like, these are really great for, like, focus. I like them. Can I get
Yes.
some? And we were like, yes, of course. And so we want to get him some, but I know Loop now has some kid ones, so we're going to look at those as options. Just because I know the over the head ones can tend to bring a lot more attention. I don't want him to feel self-conscious or uncomfortable about wearing them. And so options are always good. He can wear either if he wants to.
Exactly.
But I
Yeah.
think that those Loop earplugs, and I have them actually, the case is attached to my Kindle because I take my Kindle everywhere. And so I know
Amen.
that I always have my Loop headphones, and they're especially good for the hibachi. When you go to a hibachi
Yes.
place, because they got the music, they got the clank, clank, clank going.
It's all
There's
over.
fire everywhere. And it's like,
I'm like,
I don't know what to do with my hand.
yes, very overstimulating. I'm like, Okay. Okay.
But, like, I love the
Do you have a
food.
bathroom?
Even
Yes.
the bathroom's fine.
Food,
Ah!
10 out of 10. Yes. I'm like, you don't have to blare the music in here. It's okay.
People are
It's
just eating,
okay.
it's fine. Oh my god, yes. So,
Yes.
yeah, loop headphones or loop
Yes.
earplugs are perfect if you're someone who wants something maybe a little, like, not as noticeable, you can wear your hair over it,
Yes.
but you
And
still
they come
wanna
in
be immersed.
colors,
Yes,
like cute colors.
yes.
I love them. I love them.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking to someone who has, like, 3 pairs for
I love
myself.
that.
So, yeah.
See, I only have one, and I bought them for a concert, and I was like, "This is game changing. These are everyday accessories now. These are not just for concerts. Thank you."
Yeah, I'll bring him into the
Yeah.
movie theater if I know it's gonna be if I know I'm gonna, like, be
Yes.
sitting in the back because maybe the area that I
Mhm.
want is overcrowded, and I know it's gonna be, like, I'm gonna have a headache by the end of it, like, let's just reduce the noise a little bit. If I really need to do focus work, what I'll do is I'll put them on, and then I'll put my listening headphones over them, and then I will put on, like, binaural beats, and then I can't hear
Ooh,
anything outside of my office, and with my husband
I love
homeschooling our
that.
kids, there I can always hear them, and
Yeah.
my brain is, like, constantly
Yes.
going. So,
It's
yeah.
like, "What happened? What was that sound?" Yes.
Yep,
100%.
exactly. "Mom, what?"
Yeah.
Every time. So, yeah, I love those. So
Yes.
those are great. I usually end up wearing for me, I end up wearing my Chucks because they're super comfy
Mhm.
and just keep it simple, and then I
Yep.
pick out my outfit based on that, and I'm someone who, like, I have to pick out my outfit in order to feel less social anxiety when I get there because it's, like, something that, like,
Yes.
I don't know why, but it just makes my brain think about other things instead of the stress
Mhm.
of having to go to this thing, and I say having, like, it's a privilege to go to the but my brain is like,
Yes.
"We have to go because we spent money on
Yes.
it, but do we have to go?" It's all it guys, don't ask questions, it's a
It's
whole
like,
thing.
"Just don't ask, you don't know what's going on up here, but I can promise, it's scary."
Yes,
The
terrifying.
voices.
Alright, so we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about in the beginning, about meeting authors and fangirling, fan-themming, fanboying, all of the
Yes.
above. Fanning out over these authors that are very almost celebrity to us because their stories have touched us in such impactful ways. So, what are
Mhm.
some maybe strategies that we can implement when we're meeting these authors to maybe feel a little less awkward after the fact or
Feel that?
spiraling after the fact, maybe? I don't know.
Honestly, gosh, I was thinking about this question and I was like, I don't know, because sometimes I go up to their tables and I leave. I'm like, they probably think I am just weird. Oh, like came up here and has read their books. But I think it also depends. So, like Elizabeth Stevens,
Oh,
love Elizabeth so much. And before even meeting her at Stimulant the first year, we had already been talking since I think 2021 is when I found her books real soon after getting back into reading. And so we'd already had this rapport online. We were mutuals. We DM each other constantly. And so going up to her table, it was just like meeting a bookish friend in real life. It was like, oh my gosh, I can finally like see you, even though I'd seen you online. It's a whole different vibe in person. And so that was a different experience than meeting, say, Anita Kelly or Chloe Lisa, and in my eyes, I was like, "Oh my gosh, celebrities," and going up to their tables and then immediately seeing my name or my handle and be like, "Oh, Ricki." I was like, "You know me? Me? You know me?"
I don't know
Like
any Rickies.
I was like, "I don't know, I think you're misunderstanding." And they're like, "No, like, I've seen your comments on Instagram
Oh,
and
that's
stuff." I was
so
like,
awesome.
"You know me?" I still remember the day that Anita said my name. I turned to my mom, I was like, "Mom, they know me. They actually know me." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "They know me. You don't understand." Because they are. They're like exactly. I'm like, they're like celebrities in my head. But then I have to remind myself, I'm like, they're also just like regular people. Like, calm down. Like, calm down. And I think that also goes into like larger content creators, you put them on this pedestal and it's like they're also regular people. Like we need to remember that and just trying to remember they're regular people. So calm down. That's what I literally just tell myself. I'm like, you just gotta calm down. It like this is not like a huge like I guess in my eyes they're celebrities because so many people are reading their books. I'm like, you have all of these people who know you. And I think that's what puts them on that celebrity status. I'm like, so many people know who you are, know your name, know your face. Even if it's just in our little tiny of the corner of the internet, then I have to remind myself, like, not everybody knows who these authors are because most people shit on the romance genre.
Right.
It's not a real genre. So that, yeah, I'm just like, they are celebrities in my head. Oh my God, yeah. And sometimes when I go up to their tables, I try and connect to them either if I'm talking about a character that I love that they wrote, and normally that's where I start off with. So like when I went up to Kennedy Ryan, still cannot believe I saw that woman and hugged that woman. Oh my gosh. But I had This Could Be Us and Before I Let Go. And at that point I hadn't read This Could Be Us, but I'd read Before I Let Go like a month before the event. And I went up, almost started crying because I'm like, this woman is fantastic. 'Cause she's just so genuinely nice. Like she is such a genuinely nice person. I'm like, and she's stunning. Holy crap.
Right.
That woman is gorgeous. I was like, oh, are you married? And I'm like, I know you are. I was like, you are so stunning. And just talking to her about Soledad's story, I was like, this was so beautiful. I cried so much. And she was just so sweet about it. I was like, are you and your husband serious? Like, I love you. Yeah, I definitely see them as celebrities. I don't think I ever get it down lower than celebrity status, but I also remind myself like they are regular people. Like they're just regular people living their lives, but they're also writing stories, guys. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's a hard one.
I know.
It's a
Yeah.
very hard one.
Having met her twice and planning on seeing her again because she's going to be interviewing Regina Black, I want to say is out
Yes.
in Raleigh, which is like an hour
Yes.
from me. So, like, easy travel. Let's
Oh,
go.
simple.
Yes. And so I think I'm going to go to that one, and that one's in August, I want to say. And
Nice.
so I saw her at one of her events, and then I just saw her interview Danielle Allen, and then I'll hopefully see her again. But I know I'm gonna act a fool every time because, yes, she's
Every
gorgeous,
time.
and yes, she's
So beautiful.
incredible, and she's probably gonna wanna hug me, and I'm not a hugger, but, like, also I wanna hug her because she wants to hug me.
Right? Like the Kennedy Ryan wants to hug me. Of course, I'm giving you a hug. You never
Right.
know.
I know, it's a whole thing, guys. Like, I feel like if you've never
Yeah.
been to an event, you're probably thinking, like, "What do you mean?" But, like, for
Exactly.
real, like, this is how it feels, like,
Yeah.
you're at this big party, and all of a sudden, like, all of these celebrities like, if you watch TV, all these celebrities just show up, and you're expected to
Right.
be normal, okay? It's very
Exactly.
difficult.
Very. I remember, I think it was the second year of Steamy Lit, Beverly Jenkins was there. Beverly Jenkins walked into a room and I said, Mom, there's Beverly Jenkins. And she has not read historical romance. So she was like, what? I was like, you don't understand. You don't understand
She's the
the
queen.
presence we are in. Like, what? Yeah, I fangirled hard at her table. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh. I was like, "You want me to be normal? How can I be normal? We are in the presence of greatness. You do not get it. Don't get it."
That we'll
Oh
be
my
regretting
goodness.
later. It's fine.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh,
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so we've
yeah,
been to the event. We've talked to the authors in a semi-normal way, maybe. Probably not.
maybe.
It's okay. Doesn't matter. We did our thing. We
Yeah.
brought our signed books home. And I'm curious on the signing, do you tend to get your books personalized or not personalized?
If it's a book I have read before and I obviously loved it enough to go get it signed, I'm like, "Please personalize it." If I haven't read it yet, I try to not get it personalized because if I wanted to, like, donate it or sell it on Pango, I don't want people to just get a random book that says, "To Ricky," and they're like, "My name is George." So that doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, I just like to see their signatures, honestly. I could care less if my name's in the book. I just love seeing people's how they sign their names. I'm like, "This is interesting because mine, a big R. and a big T. And then it's just scribbles. So some of them you can actually read their name. I'm like, this is cool. I love
Right.
cursive.
And then they, like, have to practice if they're using a pen name, they have to practice this signature for an other name, which I think is like, it makes me think of, like, as a teenager practicing my own signature and, like, trying to come up with my signature, what I wanted to look like, and then being like, "What happens when I get married?" And then having to, like, redo the whole thing after getting like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole thing.
The whole thought process.
But I think it is really cool. I personally tend to get mine not personalized, and it really
Right.
just depends, but I would say 50% of my current books are signed by authors
Yes.
because as someone who does not like to go to events because of social anxiety, hello, demon in my
Mm-hmm.
corner, it's fine. I like to be able to buy them signed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was part of a book club that sent me 2 signed books every month, which was really cool, but then
Oh,
I
nice.
stopped doing that because a lot of them were white, cishet
Yep.
couples, and I
Yep.
was like, "I've
I
been
knew
with
where
you
that
for
was going.
2 years, and I've had, like, maybe 3 queer books, like, come on."
Yeah.
And none
It's
of them
crazy.
really BIPOC, so I'm done spending my money with you. And then a lot
Amen.
of the other ones were from either the author's bookshop and, like, being able to do that,
Mm-hmm.
Patreon being part of authors. So, like, if you're like, "Okay,
Yes.
this isn't sounds terrible. I don't wanna go to any events because this whole idea is a lot." Here are ways that I've gotten around it to still get those signed books because they're my treasure troves. Being part of people's Patreon is a huge one. I am part
Mm-hmm.
of Katie Roberts' Patreon, Elizabeth Stevens'
Oh,
Patreon,
amen.
and I was part of Cleo Evans' Patreon for quite a long time. And then I'm trying to think, Jenica Snow, I was part of her Patreon, and she's a white
Mm-hmm.
cishet, but she writes monsters, and I
Yes.
love
We love
monsters so
monsters.
much. And so all of those authors are ones that I was either are currently or have been in the past part of their Patreon. And they send signed books regularly, some every month and some as releases happen. So getting those book plates, anytime I can get book plates, I'm always like,
Yes.
please send me book plates, or I'll buy the books from the author's website where they have the signed ones. Scribbles Bookshop.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Love them. Love them so
Uh
much.
yes, we will have the founder, and her name is escaping me at the moment, and I am
Haley?
so sorry. Yes, thank you.
Haley Dickards? I don't know how to say her
Yes.
last name.
I think is correct. Haley is incredible, and she is gonna be on the podcast. She has agreed, so I will record with her at some point, but she's incredible. She's got, I wanna say it's almost over 200 signed
I think
authors
so,
at
yeah.
this point, which is so incredible, and it is diverse, which I
Yes.
love. Like, I love being able to go in there and say, "Alright, give me your BIPOC authors, give me your queer
Mm-hmm.
authors," and literally just, like, dumping them all in my cart and
Several
then
options.
buying them, right? Like,
Yes.
there's lots of options there that are all signed, some come with swag, and she packages them, which I think is, like, a
So
big
beautifully.
thing, right? Like, yes,
Yes.
packaging is
Yes.
important, and she
Very much.
packages each book is, like, very like, given so much care that if it rains on your package, your books are most likely not going to get ruined. Yeah, highly recommend Scribbles Bookshop. We'll make sure we have it linked in the show notes and the YouTube description for anyone who's like, "Wait a minute, I
Yeah,
need
you
that."
need it.
Yes,
You
you
need
do.
it, trust me.
Yes.
Trust.
So those are some ways that I get my books signed, but my thought process behind not getting them personalized is that I do have books that I wanna get rid of that, like, the
Mhm.
author is now problematic or, like, something happened, right? And I'm like, I don't really wanna keep these on my shelf because 1, it makes me look bad. 2, like, they're in the
Yeah.
corner in the back, no one can see them, it's fine. But, like, I don't really want them on my shelf anymore, and I wanna be able to give them away,
Exactly.
and I can't really
Mhm.
because I could, but I can't because
Yeah.
they're personalized with my name on it. That's one thing that I'm like, "Alright, not doing that anymore."
Honestly, I feel that. I feel that 100%, especially with authors having some questionable takes lately. I'm like, didn't expect that from you. So off the shelf you go. I have mine. They're turned around on the very bottom shelf.
Yes.
I'm like, you're done. You gotta go. I just don't. I gotta find time to post you on Pango or
Yep.
take you to a little free library. I just have to have time. But for now, you're turned around in shame. So good
Take
job.
your shame. That
Yeah,
is
with
it.
you. Goodbye.
Exactly. So good. Okay, so we've
Yeah.
been to the event, we've got the books. What about, like, if we wanna talk about the event afterwards, we gathered our thoughts, what do your posts tend to look like when you're like, "Alright, here's my roundup of the event?" Because I know it can feel like, especially as a bookish content creator, like, you have to be creating content constantly, be
Mhm.
on constantly, and so how do you navigate that as well?
So for events, I'm taking this from I took a trip to Costa Rica, study abroad, my last semester of college, I think. And one of it was we had to keep a journal entry and post it when we got back stateside. It was like a summer class. And every day I took notes about what we did, how I was feeling, little thoughts about it so I could look back at it and make those journal posts. For events now, each night or even just randomly throughout the day when I take a break and try to just breathe, collect myself, see what has happened that I liked, what didn't happen, how can I adjust going further in this event. I just keep it in my notes app and I'll be like, oh, this was fun, or be like, OMG, finally met so and so. So when I come back home and I'm like, okay, finally decompress, I no longer have to be that social because my social battery goes like that. I'm like, okay, gotta go back to my enclosure. Thank you. I will finally see all that, and I'm like, I normally do story posts because doing a feed post takes so much out of you, especially if you're doing like Canva graphics. And I am not the most creative person, so I'll be on Canva for hours to make one slide. I'm like, I've been here all day, and then the post isn't even done. But that I like to just like, what did I like about the event? What didn't I like and what could they adjust? I love when events send out a survey at
Mm.
the end or like a week later. 10 out of 10 recommend filling those out. And I even put everything. Sometimes I'm like, this, you didn't have enough of this, or this part of the event was not accommodating. And it may have been accommodating to me, but looking at other disabled voices or how another disabled person, depending on their disability, would navigate that, it's not accessible.
Right.
I really like to make sure that's included because my voice may just be one, but if it's multiple people saying the same thing over and over, hopefully the coordinators will adjust for the following year. And I've seen that even in Steamy Lit from year one to year two, they changed a lot of things for the better and they listened to the feedback they got in the survey. But you can also post to social media. I don't try and go and like dog any event because honestly, I haven't had a bad experience at any event so far. But just so other people know, because I know some of my followers have never been to a bookish event and may be really nervous for it. I know I was shaking in my boots for Steamy LitCon because I'd heard horror stories about Book Bonanza, Polycon, some of these bigger events that have been going on. And I was like, I just don't know if that's for me. I'm shy, super anxious, very introverted, and all the people I've seen going just seem so bubbly, extroverted people. Like, I was like, that's not me. So I don't know how this is gonna work. And even while I was at the event, I would try and do a here's what I'm doing today. Like, here's my outfit for today, and this is what all I did today. So the my followers could like see how the day was going in a sense, even though obviously everything on social media is not 100% real. But I wanted them to feel like they were there so they could see, like, oh, this is fun. Like, I definitely want to try one of these because it can be very nerve wracking. I don't know how I've seen some people, they go to like 5 or 6 events a year. I'm like, no, no, you get one or two out of me. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that A, it's really expensive. Like a lot of these events, the ticket alone is a big price. You've got to think your lodging, if you're staying in a
Right.
hotel, if it's not within driving distance, you got to think gas driving or plane ticket. You've got to think food while you're there because again, Steamy Lit spoiled me. Their ticket included, I want to say like 3 meals. So you got fed 3 times throughout the event. And most conventions don't do that because you have to pay for their food service. You have to use the hotel service. So you have to think of the money. Money's a big thing, especially right now. Like, like y'all rich. I can't do more than 2 events. Not this gal. Not this
Yeah.
gal.
Yeah, because you think
Yeah.
about the amount of money that you're spending when you're there too, right? Like, you wanna be able
Oh
to
gosh.
support these authors and, like,
And the vendors, like, yeah. Yeah, I love to spend money. It's bad. I get in there and I, like, black out. I'm like, "Yeah, there's money on this card. I sure hope so. I sure hope so." I have not checked my bank statement since being here, so who knows what's in there. But yeah, just supporting the authors, especially indie authors when they're selling at their table. I'm like, yes, I'll buy it from you. Absolutely, 100%. And the vendors. I love to see the different vendors that are at events because I don't buy a lot of bookish merch, but when I do, I love to see it in front of me. I don't like to buy bookish merch online. I'm very like, what does it actually look like right now? I'm a very visual person, very hands-on visual person. So yes, I love to spend money in there, and that's part of budgeting I have to really take into account. Like that, when I'm budgeting my event, I have hotel, gas, the ticket itself. I include that in the budgeting because that is something I've already paid for, but it's still part of the money for this event. But money there, it's got to be budgeted, and I check every night. I'm like, hey, how much did you spend? Because this is all you got left for tomorrow. So gotta cut it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And that's where I think, like, for me, those smaller ones that are within driving distance really work for me because
Yes.
I don't have to, like, think too much about that. I can just say, all right, my
Right.
budget is 300. That's what I'm spending at this event. I've already bought the ticket, so it's practically free at that point. Like,
Girl
it's
math.
already,
Like,
money's already
yeah.
spent. And then, okay, maybe I need gas on the way home and 1 or 2 meals while I'm there, depending on how long the event is. And knowing that, like, okay, I'm not just going to buy from the authors. There might be some vendors there too, like you mentioned as well, that I'm like, oh, yes, I would definitely want to buy those. When I was at Temptation in the Triangle, which is the one in Raleigh, when I was there in February of 2025, their next one is in April of 2026. Literally already bought my ticket, so it's free anyway.
Love that. Yeah, it's
Like,
free.
I'm so ready. And it's
Yeah.
$30, right? Like, super
Oh, then that's
affordable.
yeah. $30.
Go
Oh
get
my
your
goodness.
ticket. And it's a fantastic event. I'm super excited about that event. And one of the hosts of the event, her daughter was there, but she wasn't 18, so she couldn't be like in the main room. So she was like
Oh,
outside the room, and she was sewing the freaking cutest crocheted like little turtles. And I was like, yeah,
oh my
obviously I need to like do a video chat with my kids and be like, which turtle do you want?
Right.
Because I'm spending
Right.
money. Hello. Like,
Yeah.
the vendors are important to budget for.
Very. And they have some good stuff. I'm like, I would have never thought that I needed this, but now I do. So
Mhm.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so good. So, yeah. Ricki, this has been so good. We got so much
So
good,
much
juicy
fun.
information for how to put our maybe best foot forward during these events. Let's do our best, guys. It's fine.
Yes.
But if we do
Try.
fail, it's okay. There are other events we can go to. And if you find that maybe these bigger ones are not for you, finding those smaller ones might be what works better for you, or
Mm-hmm.
finding those individual book signings, like I mentioned, where it's maybe 1 or 2 authors, or one author's release and the other one is interviewing them for the
Eh.
conversation. Something very simple to keep it smaller. I think it can be really helpful for those of us who
Mm-hmm.
are like, I can't go to any of these things, but it sounds fun from afar. I get it. Believe me. So, where can people find you if they're like, okay, I need more Ricki. I need to see what she does at these events because yes, please. Where can people find you, get to know you, hang out with you?
So I'm most active on Instagram. My handle is Ricki.reads with 2 S's at the end. Someone already had Ricki.reads. So I was like, oh, just throw an S on the end. That's fine. And then I'm also on Threads, even though I never post. I just repost stuff. That's all I use it for. And a lot of the drama's there. So I try to stay in touch with what's going on in the community. And sometimes I have to delete the app off my phone because my Lanta. But Instagram, 100%. I used to do TikTok. All I watch there is funny videos my mom sends me. It's not active at all.
I feel the same. TikTok is just another place that I'm like, I don't really have the capacity to make content for you. So
Yeah,
I'm just going to stick with one.
I love it. But editing videos, because I always caption my videos, I make sure they're
Mhm.
actually what I'm saying. That takes a lot of time. I'm just like, okay, I'm good. I'm done. I do one video. I'm like, that's it for the month.
Yeah.
I was like, I need more content than that, babes.
Yep. I feel that so
Yeah.
much. Awesome. So we'll make sure we have links for that in the show notes. Ricki, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me. This was so much fun.